Only 3 more games. We'll see Henman into the semi-finals. Could be a torturous 3 games. hrbaty still very much in this.
15.
Boy, when he has missed today, it has been by so little. The kind of distance that always makes you take a second glance at the line like that was out. hrbaty doing well to get that first serve back.
As I said, there's no way that the Slovak will quit. He'll look for a way to get himself back into this match if he can. If there's any frailty in the henman game, hrbaty will be around to expose it. But so far, henman has looked rock solid. Every testing moment he's come through with flying colours.
Yeah, hrbaty didn't do much wrong there. He played a pretty good return. I'm sure he felt like he had done what he could. henman won the point in one clean swipe of the forehand.
It's a good run from hrbaty, but he's unable to pull off the winner.
Yeah, an example of how well he can move on a court. This is a pretty good dump volley. hrbaty's there, but just missing the sideline. And that's a relief to see that ball land wide for henman.
Henman again, when he's been down, has found exactly the right blend of tennis to hold his service games. Just a couple of holds away, or potentially one break of serve and a hold on his serve, and henman through to the semi-finals. What an achievement that would be.
Well, those last 2 service games for henman, behind in the score and able to recover. So he'll take out a fresh stick out of his bag, newly strung.
Henman, one of 4 men who have reached the quarterfinals or better in 3 out of the 4 Grand Slams this year. Others being Roddick, Federer and Hewitt. Scintillating forehand from henman. All works in the way it should. It's a pretty devastating serve for hrbaty's, his 6th ace. Oh yes, a little bit of henman in that volley from hrbaty.
Yeah, he's learning from the Brit, isn't he? Well, henman again forcing him to win at the net, something he's not comfortable doing, but He looked pretty good on that one.
What a couple of points to finish that game for the Slovak. Still very much alive, but it's Henman in charge. 4-3, third set. So the British number one, who's only faced break points in one of his service games in the entire match, 2 games away from the semi-finals of the US Open. Well, for many Henman fans, up till now in this match, it's been an easy ride, considering the length of his last few matches. A mere hour and 48 minutes gone. Another tight call again. Henman feeling aggrieved. He's done it a couple of times, start off the game with a double fault, but he's managed to recover.
Difficult moments. He tried to make that serve work for him. Now he has to go back to the drawing board, regroup, play a little back game here.
There has to be some tension down there for Henman. This is a big moment.
Oh yeah, you're riding the break. You feel in some ways in the back of your mind, this match is won. I just have to get through these service games. And well, you have to manage the elation you feel for being in this position with the work you have to do to get there.
And surely a little bit of tension playing its part in this game as Henman hits 2 double faults. hrbaty with a couple of chances to break back in this third set. And the net cord taking the ball out. It was a poor game from Henman when you consider the situation. Really handed it to hrbaty. And hrbaty back in the mix. So Henman has to regroup quickly. Yes, and he does. Now, how much do you think making the semis of the French will help him in this situation?
Oh yeah, I mean, he still feels this is his match to win. He did have the break advantage, so losing his serve not as painful had they been on even terms. So a little more work to do.
hrbaty going for a little too much, and Henman will gratefully accept that unforced error.
And how many times do you see it? A player loses his serve and then bounces right back on his opponent's serve. Henman redoubling his focus, his energy, his intensity.
some pass under pressure there from hrbaty. Again, possibly the match right on the line for the Slovak had he missed that. Again, some powerful hitting and some accurate hitting from hrbaty.
Yeah, that time able to do enough, didn't he, to push Henman around and pushed him almost out of the picture.
Henman be relieved about that. A fine first serve from hrbaty to just clip the top of the tape. That's too good from hrbaty, and he salvages his service game. And Henman looks a little disconsolate as he trudges to his chair. And the Slovak 5-4 ahead now in the third set. He's turned this set around.
Well, with so much pressure on you as a player, trying to close out a match of such importance, a quarterfinal outing, the moment perhaps just getting away from him, and he lost his focus, just lapsed slightly, and that's enough in this game. hrbaty is solid and strong, and he took advantage and has broken back. So now Henman will not only regroup on the changeover, resting, but also mentally he'll have to get charged up, come out with a good energy, and get up into that first serve and make sure it's in the box.
He managed to save himself in that second set, Henman, when in many ways he was in a more difficult situation, trying to save the set points. So Henman was on the verge of getting himself through to his second semi-final of a Grand Slam for this year. He's now on the verge of losing this third set. And I can tell you now it's raining as well. This is a little bit of a disaster for Henman right now. Possibly the worst moment he could be going off, and it's heavy. And you do question whether they will actually continue to play tonight, because it's already 9:45 here in New York. You can see that rain coming down, and Henman drops the first point of that service game, so he's trailing 5-4 in the third set and love 15 on his serve. And Leaf, that's not the best place for Henman to stop right now.
Yeah, well, anytime you feel you're trying to regain the momentum, you feel you're left with a little emptiness, like you should have had something that was taken away from you. And losing that break, and now with the rain, this will definitely be a big regroup moment for Henman, whether they come back tonight or sadly tomorrow.
Well, they didn't come back last night. No more play last night, in fact, because rain suspended the action. Don't forget, though, the only place to see the conclusion of Tim Henman's quarterfinal clash with Dominik hrbaty. Sky Sports 2 live coverage from New York starts at 4. So, Tim, still in the hunt for a semi-final place. Barry Cann joins me in the studio. He's been casting his eye over that game. Barry, how tricky was that for Tim to come off at that stage?
Obviously, Tim would be really disappointed he didn't close out the match, but on reflection, he came off at exactly the right time, because the match was just switching slightly. Tim had obviously played sensational tennis for 2.5 sets, but to be honest, towards the end of the third, he just looked, I don't know if it was anxiety or tired, because it was a long day for both players hanging around. And of course, down love 15, I think it's a good time to stop. He can re-evaluate with his coach, Paul Annacone, about what he did so well, because he did so many things well yesterday, and then come out I think, and stamp his authority early on.
Let's just point out what those things were that you thought he did. So just talk us through this point. This perhaps illustrates it best.
But he had such a good understanding, did Tim, the whole match, about what he needed to do. I thought probably the highlight was how well he moved. Just sensational movement, good slice, which he used to great effect, and that's just sublime talent from Tim. He really did, in the first 2.5 sets, show the full repertoire of shots that he has in his locker. But full credit to hrbaty, he hung in there. But you still feel 2 sets to love to Tim. OK, he's down 4-5. He's still the favourite.
We hope so. We talked previously about his relaxed attitude on court as well. He does seem to be so much more relaxed going into matches, and especially matches of pressure. How much is that down to Paul Annacone?
A lot. I think also you have to give a lot of credit to Tim, but I think with the understanding, if you've got a clear game pattern of what you need to do in certain situations, you can relax more. And I think that's what we've seen from Tim Henman in French Open earlier this year, and also here in the US Open. Under pressure, he's been delivering with a forehand, won him a lot of points early in the tournament. And also what pleased me so much last night in last night's match was when he was in trouble, especially in the second set, he produced a lot of really good serves. And I feel a year ago, Tim Henman would have lost that second set. So that's a big positive. And they're the type of things that I'm sure Tim is talking with Paul Annacone ahead of today's match, taking all the positives, because the positives certainly outweigh the negatives.
He'll obviously be talking to Paul Annacone, but what else will he be doing in the preparation, in the build-up to the conclusion, we hope, weather permitting, of this game?
It's big fingers crossed, isn't it? The weather's good, but I would imagine Tim will probably head down to Flushing Meadows around 12, have a very light hit. I wouldn't have thought he'd hit more than 20 minutes, have a relaxing lunch, and then probably have a little bit of banter in the dressing room, maybe some more banter with John McEnroe.
Talking about Tim getting into the semi-finals, we don't want to jump the gun too much, but what does it mean for British tennis that he has got this far in New York?
Well, I think over the years Tim's been a great role model and a figurehead for younger players, and I think we're just starting to see a good, promising youngsters come up. Of course, we had Miles Cassiri at Wimbledon, reached the final, Andrew Murray, and also Jamie Bacon. All three are through to the 3rd round, and that can only help, because what I think we've lacked in British tennis, and even in Tim's age, is a good amount, a good number, because if you have good numbers, it breeds success, and hopefully the younger generation can aspire to be the next Tim Henman, because it's certainly in terms of attitude, Tim has been spot on, and hopefully the players can copy him.
OK, Barry, thanks very much for the time being. And with the weather holding off and tournament officials holding their breath that it stayed that way, the match with top billing on Ash got underway. Under the lights, the current world #1, Roger Federer, and the old master, the AA, Andre Agassi. Already the holder of 3 Grand Slam titles and being touted as the next Pete Sampras, Federer was bidding to reach his first final at Flushing.